And good morning and welcome to VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Miner. It's Thursday, the 21st of April. I'm back in London. Paul, you're back in London. We're all back in London. We're back to normal. How are you this morning, Paul?
I'm fine, thank you. And bright sunny day outside.
Well, it's a bright sunny day, but I can tell you what, it's starting to storm clouds, I feel, are starting to gather on this market because we're starting to see some signs of pressure, particularly on costs, I think, across all the mining companies out there. You know, we saw it with Rio the other day. This morning, if you look at Antofagasta, they've said exactly the same thing, that there are big cost pressures. It's getting very tough, and we probably should start today with Tungsten West because they've also are suffering from cost pressures and have decided to rejig site the strategy of reopening the mine because of those cost pressures. Because unfortunately, you know, when you've got your energy bills going through the roof and doubling and tripling, and your underlying commodity hasn't, because the tungsten price is only up about 10%, then you've got a slight issue. But the good news is I've been talking to some of the big major shareholders this coming this morning, and actually one of the ones that I have a lot of time for just came back and said, you know, at the end of the day, they have a valuable asset. So keeping cash burn to a minimum is key. And that is just what the company is doing, isn't it, Paul?
Yes, that's right. Yes, they have made a comment out today that they are hitting the pause button here on the completion of the DFS to restart the Hemerton tungsten mine in the county of Devon. And part of the reason for that, as you say, is the cost pressures, particularly in power costs, but also they want to rework the end product possibilities for the mine under a greener and less capex intensive footprint, given the change in market conditions here. So they're going to be looking, for instance, at a sodium-based tungsten product as an end product, which would be produced on a hydromet basis, and that should be less carbon intensive as an operation than the historic pyromet ferrotungsten output that the mine previously produced. And they're also going to accelerate the deployment or considered accelerating the deployment of renewable energy as part of the power mix for the operation. So it is a bit of a slowdown here, or a delay, I guess, in the first output from the restart. But as you say, it's a good idea to replan this, and lots of companies besides them are having the same issues and having to take a second look and sharpen the pencil on feasibility studies and production studies that had been done just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think you can run the slide rule over every single, you know, not just mining companies, but actually other companies in the sector. And this will clearly, I think, this is such a key asset, as you pointed out correctly, Paul. It is in West Devon, not Cornwall, but like it's all part of the same geological formation. And Tungsten West was a key part of basically developing the whole region. So it will have a knock-on impact, actually, to the rest of the Cornish mining industry. If people want to know more about Tungsten West, please do get in touch with us. We have a site visit next Thursday, which is we're still going ahead with. There's no reason why not to. It obviously is an important corporate stock for us. Whilst in Cornwall, actually, Paul, we also had a bit of news out of Strategic Minerals today, didn't we? In terms of extending their license 10 years.
Yes, this is concerning the Redmoor project, which is also a tungsten project in the county of Cornwall, and they've got an extension of 10 years on the exploration license. It now goes out to 2037. And that is beneficial because it gives them more time to just assess the scope and scale of how much mineralization is on the Redmoor project, as well as gives them more flexibility on the existing resource that they have, which is 11.7 million tons at 0.5% tungsten and 0.16% tin and 0.5% copper, as to how exactly they may define and otherwise design mine build for that particular deposit.
Yeah, I mean it's tin and tungsten, isn't it? And actually, I think it's may even have a little bit of copper in there. I mean, it's a very resource-rich area. Redmoor, just for anybody who doesn't know, is actually pretty close to Hermodom, which is tungsten west, just across the border in Cornwall, sort of close to, not far away from Tavistock. But the distance between the two is pretty short. Anyway, yep, their NPV goes up. Unfortunately, their share price doesn't go up. Okay, what else you got for us this morning, Paul? You might want to comment on Antofagasta, which, as I just did, I mean, their guidance is in line, but they are commenting upon cost pressures.
I haven't had a look at the Anto figures, so I'll let you comment on what you've seen so far on it.
There you go. There's my comment. You comment on what you want to comment on, Paul.
Okay, I've got a quarterly update in from dual listed mineral sands producer Base Resources, and they essentially steady as she goes is what they've said for the Quali operation, and still retaining guidance for full year 2022. And the Bumamani DFS is on track for completion next quarter. They also, during the half year or during the quarter, paid a half year dividend of 3 cents Australian a share, but there doesn't seem to be any material progress on the negotiations with the Madagascar government on getting the permitting and development agreed on the huge Toliara mineral sands deposit in Madagascar, which essentially is the future of Base Resources. So what we really need to see is progress on that.
Madagascar is a beautiful country. It also is extremely resource rich. But trying to get planning permits and things and all of that is exceptionally complicated in Madagascar. So that doesn't totally surprise me, but good luck to them.
Also wanted to quickly mentioning that Largo Resources, the TSX listed vanadium producer in Brazil, announced on Tuesday that they are forming a new company to invest in and stockpile vanadium pentoxide. So that essentially is to create a business under a similar business model as the uranium companies Yellowcake or Sprott have been doing in uranium for the past a few years now.
Yep, vanadium, a metal that we have talked a lot about on this podcast. Okay, anything else urgent, Paul, or should we call it a day there? I know we're quite busy.
Nothing else urgent.
Very good. We'll call it a day and speak tomorrow.
See you then.